Hey, what's up? We're live with that Pants with another Path of Exile video, and in today's video, we're going to talk about how our events went, the blast from the past. We did the Krangle one. It's not really my thing, but it's Friday, the last day of Blast from the Past League, and man, Sentinels are so much fun. I got a Dunes map here. Let's just corrupt that, and nothing we can't run. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's probably fine. So let me just take some of this, and basically our build. Like we're level 95, so we made it to the top tier. The last level was a little bit. Now I've swapped from the build guide that we had into an Omni version of this. So we got our Crystallized Omniscience and Chaos Res and lots of stats on everything. And this build is honestly, it's absolutely fantastic. Now, this is the crit swap version of the build. So I've got the POB here. I'll link it in the description below just in case you didn't see it in the last episode. But we're taking this charisma wheel. We're taking the Revenge of the Haunted. So you get lots of spell suppress and evasion and max life. We're taking lots and lots of elemental damage, spell suppression. We got the extra arrows from multi-shot and from Master Fletcher. It's a really, really strong build. And in this Omni version, there are a few differences. Obviously, I've chucked in a Brutal Restraint here. You could go with Lethal Pride. Honestly, it's up to you. I think Lethal Pride is probably better earlier on because it gives you strength, and it's this build can be a little strength and intelligence starved because we're on the right side of the tree. But this, I did farm some 5-ways, and this is the best one I got for my build. But it gives, we've got some evasion, we got some proj damage, we got some, flat dex, which is always very nice. But then I think there's, non-curse aura effect of our skills. We got some avoid being stunned, and we got, I think, like a little bit of percent dex as well somewhere, maybe, perhaps not. But yeah, the build is essentially, the tree looks very similar. The only real differences here are we're taking the dexterity, the utmost swiftness and the attributes mastery, because if we're Omni, then we want that. And we're taking, sadly, the onslaught and the dazzling strike. The blind stuff is gone because we really need the points for this area, because anything inside this brutal restraint, this timeless jewel, any passive allocated gives us +4 to, if it was a lethal pride, it would be strength, but if it's a brutal restraint, it's dexterity. So you get +4 dexterity on all of the small nodes, +2 on all of the travel nodes, and then some other thing on all of the notable nodes. And I will put the timeless jewel calculator in the bottom just so if you want to check that out. It's a really useful tool. And also we got an inspired learning. So we got we got headhunter at home. For the inspired learning, you have to have 4 notables allocated. So we've got infused, we've got frenetic, we've got depth perception, and we've got blood drinker. And then that means that every time we kill a rare monster, we get one of its modifiers for 20 seconds. So with regular headhunter, it's for 60 seconds. And with this, it's just for 20 seconds. And I'm just going to show you, we got a Mirror of Delirium. This is quite useful. I'm going to actually activate my Sentinel as well. So this dude's going to make everything a little bit more difficult for us, and then let's activate the other one as well. There we go. Lots and lots of there's lots and lots of stuff to do here. We're probably gonna die, maybe? No. So this is what it looks like. Honestly, this build performed very, very well, better than I was expecting. Some flickering going on in my lighting system here. But yeah, this really, really performed well, this build, and this sadly is without lots and lots of trade availability. The only real differences I would make in this build would be the amount of players available to help me with it. But this is going to be our patch notes, depending, because you always got to wait for the patch notes. I would just pop this Legion here, and yeah, so the new league name, Affliction, spoiler alert, has been announced. This is, it was last night it was announced. So this Legion, these are generally fairly easy with this build because the mini headhunter buffs give us a decent amount of clear speed. Tornado Shot honestly is just like a fantastic skill for clearing. I think perhaps the best one. Probably we've got I've got a leveling loot filter here because I've kind of stopped playing the event now. I'm just trying to slowly give away all the items that I've found to other people who are going to be able to make more use of them over the next day. But yeah, this is what the build looks like, and honestly, our farming strategy it could have done with some work. So let's talk about that. Now, actually, let's talk about the gear first, just very, very briefly. A death rush. I cannot recommend this enough. But get 3 seconds. Get a 3-second adrenaline on your death rush. But I was using the taming, and in POB it looks like you don't get much more. But honestly, the quality of life. This is something that over a decade of playing Path of Exile, I've realized is that quality of life matters more than DPS. Because if you're not having fun playing, or if you're having a great time playing, it's way better than if you're just having an okay time playing, but you're doing a lot more damage. And yeah, adrenaline is huge quality of life. It's insane. So get a death rush, chuck it on. We just did that map, and we don't even have capped res. And I believe that map was actually minus res as well. But yeah, so we don't even have capped res, and it's still fantastic. The swap to Omni can be a little bit difficult. I think the way I would approach it is the first couple of items. So let's see, here's our path of building. So this is what you would start off with. The first few things I would get rid of would be the Poised Prism, because honestly, it's not that great. It's a really good 1 to 4C unique to help you get through to red maps really, really well in a trade league. But as soon as you get there, and especially as soon as you do the crit swap, you want to immediately swap to crit multi, damage with bows, projectile speed, because we've taken the projectile damage mastery. I think the belt as well, I think I got the 18% increased strength, and then I just threw essences on it. And an important thing to note is that strength can naturally roll on belts, but not all stats can naturally roll on belts. So you want to use a stat that cannot naturally roll on a belt, like dexterity, and then you will get strength as well. And I got strength here and a open suffix. So I did suffixes cannot be changed, Veil, Chaos, and then we got Cold and Chaos resistances on our Veil, and then I just crafted on extra life. I think we X-slammed it and we got armor, I think, or plus life recovery rate, something like that. It was, yeah. The prefix is not a huge thing, but getting a decent belt with a synthesized one, I think quite good. I used a Stygian for quite a while as well, because the Stygian comes with a free implicit basically, and you can choose your own implicit. So I went with attacks, flat damage to attacks, life, phasing on kill, that kind of stuff. Really important quality of life stuff. And also the phasing on kill allowed me to remove a single point. I think it's this one here. Yeah, chance to gain phasing for 4 seconds on kill. You can just take that off if you get it on your Stygian. So really, really useful. The boots, I think, are really important to get done early on. This is something I would go for very quickly. I think perhaps first if I'm looking at Omni swapping. So the way to get these is you get a 14%, or 13 I think also works as well. I believe that we're capped, but if I take these off, then we're at 87, and yeah, that's with the 15% spell suppression mastery as well. So yeah, you need some amount of flat spell suppress. Use POB, so figure it out. But then I just for these I just used ailment avoidance essences until we got a T1 attribute. We got dexterity, and then suffixes cannot be changed, and then Veil Chaos again, and pretty easy. And then we got Onslaught for 4 seconds on kill, which is honestly, I think, the best outcome for these by far. And then you can just chuck these on, and you Eldritch Implicits to get avoid ailments, and increased action speed is what you want, not increased movement speed. I ran out of the embers on the way, so I had to settle for increased movement speed, and I just never went back to it since. But this is, you know, spell suppress. It's got 50% ailment avoidance, which is huge. You got Onslaught, you got some life, you got, you know, some Omni as well, and the action speed really good. So these boots, I think, if you get these boots early on, this is something that you can have in your build on its own, and it stands on its own, and you can keep mapping whilst you do this kind of stuff. Obviously, dexterity is not what you want if you're just rolling into this. You want something better. You probably want strength, because the build is strength starved, and you're not swapped to Omni yet. So attribute types matter earlier on. But regardless, yeah, these boots are the first thing I would probably swap into. The first thing I would make. Then the belt. A ring is probably going to be one of the last things. We picked this one up. We were quite lucky to find this one on trade for, I think, like a divine or something, and it's just a fractured T1 attribute ring, and then you just essence spam until you've got a T2 or T1, you know, depending on what you're going to settle for, attribute alongside it, and then suffix cannot be changed, Veil Chaos, and then we unveiled life by blocking mana, and then we craft on minus mana, and that brings our tornado shot down from, I think, 30 down to 23. Obviously, Omni, we don't really need to give it much thought. For a quiver, just honestly get a crit multi fracture. This is not the right kind of base I would go for. I'll go for feathered, but for the crit multi fracture, and then just essence spam for attributes again, and then, you know, it's the same thing for most of these things. The helmet, I picked this tornado shot, fires an additional secondary projectile. Up on trade, it's item level 75, and honestly, this is probably the worst gear piece that I have. It's really good. I think I threw like 5 essences at it, strength essences, and we rolled T4 intelligence, and I said, right, well, that's it then. That's what the helmet's gonna be. I got attacks have % crit chance, increased base crit, shadows and dust, and then our bow was a T2 fractured cold damage, and then we just essence spammed T2 essences. We didn't even have the good essences at this point, so we just put T2 essences on. We got a T4 lightning, and then then we just, prefixes cannot be changed, and then we reforged speed in the bench, and we got T5 attack speed, which is the lowest possibility to get. So that's a shame. But then we chucked on global crit strike multi. We got crit chance as well, which is nice. But I think reforging at speed is better than crit, because with crit you're more likely to get something better with attack speed than you are with critical. And you can always put on either crit multi or crit strike chance. So you can always put on one of those two. Whereas, yeah, if you reforge attack speed, then you'll always be able to get something good. And yeah, apart from that, no other crazy gear pieces. So our strategy, my strategy early on was we rushed Jun missions, and then we did lots of expedition. We did a ton of expedition, actually. The shrines, oh, chef's kiss, so good. I love shrines. They're fantastic. And even when you're using Wandering Path, which is, obviously, if you're rushing an Atlas, you want to go Wandering Path very quickly, because it gives you way more chance to drop connected maps, and therefore drop things that you'll be able to use and get points from. So we were filling out lots of the, 2% chance for a monster in each of your maps to drop an additional connected map nodes and taking Wandering Path. But these ones here, increased effect of shrines on you. These are really, really strong, especially when you couple them with your maps have a 10% chance to contain an additional shrine, because this is a 20% chance with Wandering Path. And so you can pick up 40% chance for a shrine here, and then another 40% increased effect of the shrine buffs. And then these three over here, this is another, this is, 60% with Wandering Path, chance to contain additional shrine. So you're 100% guaranteed to get a shrine. And with all the increased effect of the buffs on you, if it's a movement speed shrine or an action speed shrine, oh, you're just zooming around. It's so good. It feels great. It really feels great. I went with Harbinger in this event because I know that people really, really probably want annul orbs. We got 22. I forgot to sell them. But yeah, see, they're 20C each. And because people are using recombinators a lot, I use quite a few of them. They're so fun. I really hope they go core sometime. GGG, that'd be great. But yeah, people are really, really using annuls a lot, to the point where, this, you can see on this trade macro, it says 11C, but it's really, if it's 25 if I've got 5 of them, or this guy's got like 11 for 15C, but it's definitely way more. Divines, I think they're maybe 100 now, 130. So they started off at around 60-ish, and it's taken a week for them to go up in price. Yesterday they were 100. So it's really, towards the end of the league, they start going up in price a lot. I think everybody's liquidating all their stuff. But yeah, so the strats, Harbinger was the right call for this. Honestly, the amount of Horizon orbs that you get from it as well is really good. The amount of Exalt shards and Annul shards, and the Harbinger orbs are really expensive for some reason. And I'm not really sure why. I upgraded, so I always use my Harbinger orbs, and you eventually get a beachhead map if you do so. And I looked at the price of the beachhead map, and it was 60C, which is almost a divine in this league. And I'm not entirely sure why. So maybe it's just because you could, the chance to get annul orbs is so high from that. I'm not really sure what it was. I ran one of them just to see, what am I going to pull out from this? Didn't pull out that much money. And then I used all my other Harbinger orbs and I sold them. And yeah, it was brilliant. But the things I definitely learned from this is we got a lot of void stones as well. Is that I will actually frequently, when I'm progressing my atlas, I will do the white maps, I'll do the yellow maps, and then I'll get to I'll drop a red map and I'll stop. And I'll go back and I'll fill out the whites and the yellows and stuff. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm being so conservative. There was a video from TyTy about why you suck at progressing maps. I'll link it down below. It's really, really good, but it sort of proposes, instead of run the highest tier map that you have, if you want to do your tier 4 maps, for example, then you have to run one tier 6 and then run all your tier 4s. And it's a really good video. It's very short as well. I highly recommend you watch it. But yeah, so I think I'm going to do some practice runs with this character, and we're gonna blast a little bit and see if we can make our early league atlas progression a little bit faster. Legion, what can I say? It's crazy good. It's absolutely insane. The one thing I definitely learned this time that I'm going to try and remember is that I can be very, I can still be very conservative in the video. It's like it's the problem with, if you give someone like health potions in a video game, then frequently they will just save them. And then at the very end of the game, you get to the last boss and you got 5,000 potions. I'm like that. And it's a problem. It's a real problem. So I like save things, and I don't, I've got to get over this and just blast. And Legion, the difference between having like Legion Sextant, polished Legion Scarab, Legion on the map device, and like a an atlas that has all this Legion stuff, and I took everything that we could for Legion that you would expect, and these things. The difference between this and just not even like, and just 2 things being downgraded, like 2 things I would save, like a potion or something, like maybe using just the regular Legion scout, like a rusted one, or maybe not running, running without the sextant. It's insane. It's such a huge difference. So I think going all in on a strategy really early on is very, very important. If you want to make a lot of money in Trade League, then I think that's really, really important. I've taken Wrath of the Cosmos because the red altars are so gifty. It's fantastic. So I think, yeah, this is what I've learned about the strategy. The expedition, man, is so rippy. It's so rippy. I wanna try it a little bit more, but in this league where you have 50% of your level as an XP penalty upon death, I think it's expedition's not the call. I think I made a mistake on that one. So I'm 50-50 on whether we're going to try the event later on today. Swing by on twitch.tv/lifewithoutpants to check out if we're doing it or not. If we are, I mean, we got to 95 in this. We could get to 95 again, but honestly, we were going pretty hard on this one, and I really enjoyed it. Don't really care about Calandra, to be honest. I made a couple of the tablets. They're just gonna stay here forever, I think. The only ones I really cared about is I made a couple of Untainted Paradise ones and used those for a level, and that was it. But yeah. Anyway, that's been my review of this build and this event and this. Oh man, we learned so much, which I think is the important thing. Like, I learned a lot from this, and I'm really, really happy about that. Obviously, I've switched to Tornado Shot as well, and Tornado Shot, it scales with projectiles. So get those extra projectiles as soon as you can. It's really, really important. I had an Onslaught Flask. I dropped it. I dropped the Onslaught Flask for a Dying Sun, and it's, 2 additional projectiles most of the time. Oh my gosh, it makes so much difference. It makes so much difference. So 2 additional proj, super important. Get them whilst you can. And yeah, Tornado Shot, really, really mechanically good skill. I'm still on a 5-link for my single target. My Artillery Ballista is just, yeah, it still rips through Legions. So I think this is the point where I would stop upgrading my gear. Apart from the helmet, I would definitely upgrade the helmet, but I would stop upgrading my gear at this point. Maybe get a 6-link, maybe get a better bow. Actually, probably get a better bow. But other than that, other than these 2 gear pieces, I would completely stop now. If this was like a regular Trade League, and I would just go for my my belt, my chase belt, whether that's going to be Mage Blood or Headhunter. I don't know, probably Mage Blood. But yeah, that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed this little look at our little retrospective at our event, and I hope you're kind to everyone you meet. I love you all very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.